Hey friends, it's Karamo, talk show host, life coach, and your next best friend. You just don't know it yet. I'm hosting a new podcast called Started on WhatsApp, Brotherhoods. We're going around the world to explore male friendships and all the wins, challenges, and bonds that are made in WhatsApp group chats. And that's exactly where you can listen to it. Right in the app. It's streaming on the official WhatsApp channel. Just open the app and go to the Updates tab to start listening. While you're at it, message your best friend and make sure they listen too. I'll see you there.
The Oregon Ducks survived Iowa and in the process kept their national playoff hopes alive. But is the team's fourth quarter defense a little suspect? We're going to talk about all that and more here on the Ducks Confidential podcast. I am Fentress of the Oregonian and OregonLive, and he is George Wrighster of the CW and the Unafraid Show. George, what were you going through emotionally in that fourth quarter? I want to know, because I was sitting in the press box watching a very entertaining fourth quarter, wondering how my man George was doing when Gronowski on a blatantly obvious QB draw, by the way. They went 5 wide. A team that doesn't know how to throw the ball went 5 wide. They're running QB draw. They scored. Were you freaking out or what?
On that one play,
just the drive itself.
Let's go that one play first. Actually, hold up. I like to set the scene, okay?
Okay, set the scene.
So I'm gonna set the scene for me, and then tell you what happened. Then I want you to set the scene and tell us what it was like for you as well. So Here is my scene. I am at the studio. I'm in my suit. We got multiple TVs up. We're in between recordings because it's not post game yet for the North Carolina Stanford game. So we had already done halftime, all that stuff. So I got some time at this point in time. I've had a chance to watch pretty much the entire game. Okay. And actually, no, I did have a chance to watch the entire game because when we went on set, I would put it on my phone and pause it. And then after we were done recording, I would press 10 seconds after every play because we don't go super fast no more. So I was able to catch up. So I was able to see every single play because I would just fast forward through commercials too. So I was able to watch the entire game basically in real time. Okay. So let's start with when Dante Moore gets tripped on third down. He gets his foot stepped on third down. Sapp was wide open. It was going to be a touchdown. You go up by multiple scores at that point in time. Game's going to be over. But instead, you got to kick a field goal and only go up 8. So, and then I'm still feeling fine because you can't lose at that point in time. So you're still feeling good, but you don't like only being up 1 score. So then, fast forward, punt the ball down to the 3-yard line, bruh. Ain't no way I was gonna be able to go 93 yards.
Not a
they
chance.
Cannot throw the football.
Not a chance in hell.
Huh?
I was agreeing with you. Not a chance in hell they were going to make that drive.
Gronowski cannot throw the football.
Nope.
First down, stuff them. Second down, stuff them. It is 3rd and long. This is the dream. You got the number 1 pass defense in the country in 3rd and long. A team that can't throw the football backed up into the end zone. Can you script it any better? This is like pick 6 territory. This is safety. This is like there's nothing that can possibly go wrong, except they go max protect, and we don't get a pass rush on that particular play. Right. And the safeties, they let the tight end run a deep. And now I get it because I talked to a former Oregon safety about this. Because I was screaming when he threw the ball for a first down, 41, 43 yards, however long it was, threw it over the top of the safeties. I was like, what the hell were they thinking? And he was like, they were playing the player. They were like, there's no way that this dude, like they got crossed up a little, but then they were also like, this dude is so far. I'm not even sure if he can throw the ball this far in this situation. So, but He mustered one up. And then you're like, okay, cool. Everything's fine. They're not even at the 50-yard line yet. Everything's okay. Then you get him in another 3rd and long and you bust coverage again. Like they motioned out, and then 22 candidate goes out with a guy that, so the corner and him get mixed up. You got to do wide open. That's the only way that he can hit people is wide open. So now you're in a situation. So now I'm like, what in God's name is going on? This is ridiculous. And then we get into the red zone. Oregon has, now mind you, Oregon has allowed some of the least amount, because people keep pointing to, well, if you get in the red zone, you're 100% going to score. Yes, but they've also allowed less people into the red zone than mostly anybody in the country. So it's kind of a skewed stat. So then they get inside the 10, and then it's 4th down on 3. First of all, that should have been intentional grounding on 3rd down. They just don't call it throwing out of the back of the end zone. He was not outside of the tackle box.
But now, what's the rule on that, though? Because I've kind of been led to believe that are allowed to do that. It doesn't matter if anyone's in the back of the end zone or not.
So I talked to a referee. He said, technically, it is illegal. Because there was in that situation, because they had nobody, there was literally nobody downfield.
Right. Everyone got jammed up.
Yeah. But no, he was blocking. And so,
but
they were like in that situation, it should have been called, but they were like, it's a general. He said in 20 years of officiating college football, he's only seen that called twice. Right.
They don't call it.
So, yeah. So it should have been, by me, you're not going to get that call.
It's safety for the quarterback, right?
Yeah. And then on 4th down, when they came out and spread, just like they did earlier in the game, I was yelling. And then Oregon comes out in this defense that they played against. They came up with this last year. And I was like, oh, I actually like this, because they had Tuioti in the middle, and it was 4 defensive linemen. So you got 5 linemen versus 5 defenders. That's not good for the offense.
No, there's 3. There's 3. I'm looking at it right now. Ducks only had 3 in the box, and 3 on the line, and then 1 linebacker.
Yeah. So So even worse, you got 4 against 5.
Unless I'm not seeing this right. Hold on. Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure it was 5 on 5 because somebody else was in the box, and then you have 4 defensive linemen.
Oh, I mean, there's a line, a defender in between the slot receiver and the tackle, but way closer to the slot receiver.
Yeah. So you had, I think it was Jerry Mixon on one side, and then a safety on the. Yeah. And so I'm sitting there like, oh, they're gonna fake this, and they're gonna blitz him from the outside, that way he can't run up the middle, and then they're going to I was like, this is great. But then I was like, he's going to run. I was like, this is a quarterback run. I don't understand. 100%. I could not understand. Now, mind you, coaches go off of analytics, gut feelings, all of this stuff. And I'm like, if it was clear as day to me that this was going to be a QB draw, I don't know how anybody else could have not know. Oh, yeah. So I'm looking at the picture that you sent now, because you got Bryce Betcher at the top, outside of the tackle, in between the slot and the tackle, and then you got Mixon in between the slot and the tackle on the other side. Right. 3 defensive linemen and Tuioti in the middle. Okay, cool. If it were from like the 7-yard line or the 6-yard line, this would have been perfect. Right. But I was expecting Bryce Betcher and Mixon to blitz off the edges. No, because now you got to hold. Yes. And then I'm like, heat him up. He can't throw. He's proven that he cannot throw the ball in a shoebox. I would have made him throw the ball in a shoebox under. I'm blitzing everybody that does not need to be covered. Right. And he's going to have to make a throw, because he's not proven that he can make a throw. No. So that's what I would have done. And then he runs in, and I'm like, oh my God, this is insanity. But there's 1 minute and 51 seconds left. However, I don't believe in Atticus Sappington at all.
Oh, so people need to leave Atticus alone. He shut y'all up on this day. Go ahead.
He did shut everybody up. He did shut everybody up. But I can tell you this. I did not watch one single one of his field goals. Those I walked out of the room. I was like, bro, I'm not even watching this. And Michael Bumpus was like, George, have some confidence in your guy. So I apologize, Atticus. You shut me up, and I apologize. So that's first thing. Second thing is so then the camera pans to Dante Moore. And I feel like look in the guy's eyes a lot of times and see what's there. I can't see what's in this kid's eyes. I'm like, oh my God, this is your moment, Dante. You did it at Penn State. Now it is your time to show everybody that you got that dog in you, right?
Okay.
So, and he comes out. And dink and dunk and dink and dunk. But I'm yelling at the television. I'm like, why are we moving so damn slow? But it works out. And then he throws a damn, what has been the throw of his life so far, again, on that 24-yard pass to put you in field goal range. But I'm still not satisfied because, yes, it's a pretty close. It's like a 43-yard field goal at that time, and then you go up and then you throw the ball to 11. Oh Lord, McClellan.
Sorry,
he catches the ball, and now you're like, all right, cool, it's closer. But however, in my mind, I'm like, I still can't trust this kid, right? Still can't trust Sappington yet. So then I'm in the studio. I'm pacing around so it's me, Mike Yam, Michael Bumpus, the makeup lady, and one of the people from the crew. And it's like a big area, and I'm pacing around the damn chairs, right? This whole drive, I'm like, bro, what are we? Well, it started on defense. And then when the kick is getting ready to happen, I walk out of the studio. I'm like, I can't be in here for this. I'm walking out because, but hold up. But the reason why I did it, and remember, it's only crazy if it doesn't work. So the reason why I did it is because I didn't watch the other two field goals. And what did he do? He made it. So if I had stayed in there and watched the last one, he would have missed the field goal. So I had to keep up the Atticus Sappington hate and non-belief so he would make the field goal. So then I walk out of the studio, and then I know that I was going to call a timeout to ice him. So I don't even know how long I can stay outside, because then I'm like, all right, how long can I even stay outside? Because I don't want to walk in and blah, 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 right? So I stay out there probably way longer than I need to, because I'm like, okay, they're going to go kick a field goal. There's going to be a timeout after that. And then they might play a commercial and this and that. So I'm trying to judge everything, but give myself enough time. And then finally, I come back in and I'm kind of easing. I'm like, yo, is it safe to come back in? And Mike Yam is like, yeah, dude, it's the play's over. That's what he said to me. The play's over. He didn't tell
you what happened?
No. So I walk in and Bumpus goes, stop. What he said, hey, he said, I told you to believe in the kid. I told you to believe in him. Knocked it through. I was like, phew. And it was only 2 seconds left. I was like, do not kick it deep to Wedgen. Do not. Because he will come out from 9 yards. You haven't allowed him anything. And then perfectly executed squib kick. It was amazing. I was happy with the win. And then when you think about it too, everything was in Iowa's favor. You had actually, and everything started crazy the night before the game. I'm flying to the studio. I'm getting texts. Decorian Moore tore his ACL. Harkey's injury looked worse at first. He's out for the year. Jordan Davis is hurt, and so is Kenyon Sadiq. And it was one other person too. And I was like, hold on, time out. This is too much. This is too much. There's no way that all of this is true, right? So then I start hitting my peeps up radio silence. And these are people that would never radio silence me ever. So now I'm like, something's up. I just don't know what. And I know it ain't all of this. So then you hit me about it. And I'm like, yo, I don't know, because I can't say something. And I'm like, I don't know. I've heard this, but that would be a lot. Are they juggling chainsaws during a bye week or what? So that was my range of emotions.
Good Lord, dude. You just went on like a 12-minute rant.
Well, you asked what
I didn't
what
ask
happened.
all that. I didn't ask all that.
Hopefully that was
you didn't tell me what you had for
everybody.
you didn't tell me what you had for breakfast. You left that out. Anyway, yeah, my experience was a lot less emotional. My concern was the fact I had to rewrite my story because I had it written that they were going to win. Then I had it written that they blew it. Then I had to write that they pulled it out. So it was chaos in the last few minutes here because I had to write something that we post. I had to write something that we post like within 5 minutes of the outcome, which, you know, happens or doesn't happen based on the outcome. But no, it was a pretty fascinating last few minutes. Yeah, that fourth down play was crazy. The 4th and 3, Mixon and Betcher both turned inside to take away the slants from the inside receiver, which I thought was fine. But by doing that, you're turning your back to the quarterback. So now it's 5 blocking 4.
Yeah.
With a good running quarterback who scores a lot of touchdowns.
Is going to work.
Yeah, that's a great.
Any coach will take 5 blocking 4.
Right. And even if it had been a pass, I mean, he did draw action anyway, but had he looked for the pass and no one was open, he still has a great chance to score because it's 5, you know, dealing with 4. But anyway, so I didn't like that defensive call. But no, you know, look, we'll get into a lot of this as we go. Yeah. But to me, it was both good and it was both like, what's the defense doing?
If you're playing Ohio State, that probably is the best call. That probably is the best defensive call. But you're playing Iowa. So,
like, even if you go man-to-man across, you devote more people to the quarterback, he's got to stick something in there tight because you're bringing pressure, and he's not really shown that he's that guy. And if he is, you go.
But yes, exactly. Exactly. It was the situation versus the player versus the situation. Like if you're playing against if you were playing against Alabama, then you might take your chances with Ty Simpson or with Julian Sayin at Ohio State because their wideouts are so phenomenal that you're like, we actually want him to run it like instead of throw it, or throw it into a tough situation. So yeah.
All right, my 3 words. Old school football, man. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't like spreading it out and throwing it. I was a receiver, so we all love that stuff. I've made that point numerous times. We all know it. But there's something to be said about games where it's, you know, gaining 3 yards on first down is kind of a positive, you know, because it's not a defense. And then when you see like Noah bust through for 27 once, or even Jordan Davison's 19-yard run that set up De'Aaron Hill's, like those are like impactful big moments because of the type of game it was. And Oregon had to go in there and they had to win that type of game against a team that lives and breathes with those types of games. And they were able to pull it out. Yes, I don't like the drive they gave up, but Oregon answered when they needed it most. Dante in the passing game stepped up and made the plays needed to get it done. So it was a very entertaining game from that standpoint.
So tell me about the weather, like because we saw it on TV, and then you were at the Wisconsin game too, right?
Oh yeah. So yeah, the Wisconsin game had much more wind to deal with, which makes it more difficult, as you know, you and I talked about. I mean, rain's one thing, it can be a problem, but rain and wind, that's when you got major problems. So the wind wasn't really that much of a factor. If you remember, they came out on the first drive and threw the ball 3 straight times. Yeah. And didn't get anything. And Lanning said after the game that he was like, okay, yeah, we can't be doing that. So they went to the run, and the run was super successful. And the passing game was kind of sputtering. Yeah, and Whittington said, you know, the rain was bothering them. So I'm just going to have to say that I just think that they just smartly decided, okay, we can run the ball. Let's just do this because we don't have to worry about them scoring a lot of points.
How much rain was it compared to the Wisconsin game? Because the balls did look waterlogged. Yeah,
the rain was similar. It was similar. It did die down for a little bit, but the main difference was there was far more wind in the Wisconsin game.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because we did see some good throws. I mean, Iowa hit that wheel. Iowa hit that one down the middle. It led up a little bit late in the fourth quarter. It led up a little bit. So you know, we've all seen good quarterbacks good passing games operate in the rain. Like we've seen it. I'm not saying Dante's not good. I'm just saying that it was clear they decided that our best bet is to run the football, which they ran really well.
Especially once you lose Gary Bryant Jr. as well.
Yeah, he came in without Oregonian. So
Yeah, because I actually think that touchdown, because he threw the ball to Cooper Perry on that interception.
Yeah.
I actually thought that was probably more so like personnel and situation, because if that is either Gary Bryant or Kenyon or somebody that he's thrown the ball to way more, he may have their timing down a bit more. They may have bent it in a little bit, like so I wasn't even mad at that pick at all. I thought that was like I'm throwing to somebody that I don't throw to quite as much. And it's just like that foot is the difference between a pick and and a touchdown.
Right. But wasn't that on early down though? I'm trying to call it back up again.
No, it was on third down.
Oh, it's third down. Yeah, it's third and long.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like 3rd and 9 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, he was trying to stick it in there. There's an under defender, safety coming over. No.
That was the corner. The corner fell off of the corner made a phenomenal play.
Right. Yeah, the corner came over. The safety was coming over, but the corner made the play. But there was a trailing defender too. Yeah, so he kind of jammed him and let him go. It was trying to make a really tight throw there.
Yeah. It was a tight throw, but you would not expect that corner to make that play though either.
Right.
Like that was a hell of a play.
And the receiver didn't come out of his.
If he had thrown the ball to the outside, like the corner would have had a problem.
Right. But also Cooper Perry, when he got off the jam, he kind of looked inside and wasn't moving full speed.
So that's what I'm saying. Is that
his fault because he was jammed.
Freshman. Yeah, you got another true freshman that maybe you don't want to play quite as much yet in a situation, and now the team's like, okay,
yeah,
we're down.
So the corner, the top receiver, I think is Benson, was on the numbers. He bends outside on his go, and the corner played him inside as he dropped into a zone, so he could read the thing, the seam, and then jump the seam.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was a hell of a play by the corner, because if he chooses wrong, he's screwed.
But I would say here, you got to just not even take that chance and get the field goal. He's trying to make a Brett Favre type throw. You're trying to make a great throw. If he puts the ball
on him, that's a tutty. But also, those are the type throws that elite quarterbacks can make, and they expect to make. So I'm not mad. Like if he were doing that regularly, then yes, I would be concerned. But in a rainy, windy game, like slightly windy game, like I wasn't mad at it at all.
All right, what's your 3 words? But do you have 3 words? I mean, you gave us like 15,000 words to open the show, but
I would say, oh man. We have arrived.
Oh my God.
No, hold on. Let me explain this. Oregon has arrived.
Okay.
And I'm saying Oregon has arrived. I'm not talking about this particular season. I do believe that they have arrived this season as a team who is gutsy and can win tough football games and won't fold, right? So I think that they've arrived in that way this season. I'm not talking about arrived as like a national champion favorite or something like that. No. Okay. I'm saying we have arrived in that way as a team who's gutsy and all of that stuff and can win close football games. But I also believe that we have arrived I believe that this was a statement as a program that Oregon used to be able to win certain types of ways, right? But now you have proven that you are now a program that can win any kind of way. You know what I mean? Like you can win a rock fight game like you just won at Iowa. You can throw for 1 billion yards. You can like that the program has arrived as a program that what the situation calls for, you now have the personnel to be able to answer. You understand what I'm saying now?
Yeah, I hear you.
So I'm saying that the program has arrived and not this particular team, if that makes sense.
All right. The good and the terrible. The good for me, the resiliency, to like you just said, to play the type of game that you're not necessarily known for and do it well on the road at a place like Iowa, to be able to answer the call when they went on that ridiculous 93-yard drive by the offense was impressive. And the terrible is just the injuries. Like, it's getting a little dicey there, especially on offense.
Yeah, I'm actually not concerned about the offense at all, to be honest with you. It's more the health than anything else. Because Aaron, if I had told you, and mind you, and we talked about this on the show, if the world had known, it said one quarterback went 13 for 21 for 112, no touchdowns and a pick. The other quarterback went 10 for 18 for 138 and a touchdown. Who would you thought would have been the quarterback?
I mean, they're both pretty bad.
But one threw for a touchdown, one didn't. You probably would have.
I think more threw for the touchdown.
Yeah. So, and then if I told you one team ran the ball 43 times for 101 yards at 2.3 yards per carry, and another team went 36 for 261 and a touchdown, what would the national media have guessed?
Almost everyone would have guessed. Almost everyone would have guessed Iowa had the 240 or 260.
Except for this guy, because I just
Who?
did. I just
you? You?
No. I said everybody would have guessed that would have been Iowa.
Okay.
I said except for me,
you.
because I just didn't believe that with the way that this defensive line in particular plays, that I didn't believe that Iowa was going to be able to be one-dimensional and win. Right. I just didn't think it was possible. And be able to run the ball at a. Well, okay.
First of all, it was clearly possible because they almost won the game. But
yeah,
it was possible.
Yeah, but I'm saying I didn't think that they would. Excuse me. I didn't think I didn't think there was any chance that they would win the game and not be able to run the ball. I'm sorry, that they would be able to win the game passing one, and then also I didn't believe that they would be able to have success against Oregon's defense
when the defense knows what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
And your quarterback can't bail you out. Yeah, it's a big problem. All right. So for me, grades, offense, I'm gonna go B because the running game was dominant. Defense, I gotta drop them to a B minus, and the reason why is because of that drive. Like you can be great for 3.5 quarters, but if you have the lead and you have a team inside its own 10 who cannot throw the football, and you let them go 93 yards. That erases a lot of the goodwill before that. So I still gave him a B. I still kept him in the B category, but B minus. Special teams, A, obviously Sappington. Shut a lot of y'all. I heard people in the press box barking about Sappington, and he kicked 3 field goals right in their faces.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, go ahead.
Hey, so it's not even just Atticus Sappington. We got to give credit to James Ferguson Reynolds.
Yeah,
because
go ahead.
Because the thing that Iowa fans were talking about, our defense and our special teams, wet gin, and I'm like, that they haven't allowed a punt return all year, right? We're talking zero. I believe it's 0 punt return yards the entire season. So you think that all of a sudden, that's why I was like, y'all think that all of a sudden that Oregon is going to start allowing punt returns? No, they're going to do whatever they need to do to not get a punt return. Like you would have a better chance of blocking a punt than getting a punt return off this team right now. So I would give the special teams an A. I would give the defense. Now, even on the last drive, they did play great defense, which is crazy. They busted coverage twice, and then I thought a bad call by the coaches on 4th down. So I'm going to give them a B+. You can't
play great defense and give up 93-yard drive to a team that cannot play football.
No, hold on. But there are differences in 93-yard drives. There are. No. I'm saying is that they held them on 3rd, and then they busted coverage twice. So I'm giving them a B+ because
busting coverage is on the defense.
It is. That's why I dropped it from an A+ if they had gotten that stop on third down where they gave up the 41-yard pass or 43-yard pass, however long it was, and then the game kind of ends there, you would have gave them an A+, right?
I give them an A up until that drive, and that drive was an F. And the fourth quarter is more important. Up until that drive. Up until the drive.
An A until that drive, not an A+.
Okay, fine. An A, whatever. A+, whatever. I mean,
okay. So
the drive was
that's why I dropped them down
from.
Yeah. So that's why I dropped them down from an A+ to a
B+
to a B+.
Come on, man. B-. All right. Well, that's just
because they gave you every opportunity to win. Like if they had lost 16-15, the narrative would have been, yes, that was a bad drive, but you got to score more than 15 points. That would have been the talking point.
It definitely would have been one of them. All right, let's stay on the defense. Do you have a hidden gem? I don't really have one. Do you have one?
Oh, Jerry Mixon Jr.
Okay, break it down.
Actually, I mean, is he really hidden? He had 13 tackles, 9 solo tackles. I mean,
sometimes it's kind of hard. Maybe we should just change this to just a gem. Sometimes hidden, sometimes otherwise.
So I would go, if I were going hidden gem, Mateo Uiagalelei.
Okay.
Hidden gem. Because his name is not hidden, but it's been hidden a lot this year, so much so that people believe that he's playing poorly. But because
he's not getting sacks, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this reminds me of what Kyle Brady taught me when I was a rookie in the NFL. We were going to go vote for the Pro Bowl. And I was like, yo, who should we vote for? I was like, I don't know how this works. Like, who should we vote for? And he was like, because I asked him, I was like, I'm looking at the sack numbers because when you vote for the Pro Bowl, they give you a sheet, they give people stats and all that stuff like leaders and stuff to kind of help you out. And I was like, I want to vote. I mean, I was like, I guess Simeon Rice is going to win it. But he was like, George, we played against him. Was he the most difficult person for you to block or handle this year? I was like, no, it's actually super easy to block him. I was like, the only issue anybody has is on third down.
Right.
He was like, precisely, George. He was like, so why would you vote for a guy? I was like, he's got 16 sacks. He was like, George, how many plays are there in the course of this year? It was like about 1,000. It's like, so he had 16 good plays out of 1,000?
Come on, he gets pressure on some other plays too.
Yeah.
But I see your point.
And then he was like, what was our game plan against him? Run at him. I was like, damn. And so he was like, vote for the people who gave you the most trouble, who were the most problems for you or for anybody else, not just a guy who's good on third down. And Mateo Uiagalelei last year, and truthfully, this year he's been hell on third down. But the reason why his sack numbers are down is because him and Tuioti have caused such a problem, and Amari Washington and Barry even have caused such an issue on film. Nobody is drop back passing unless they do what Iowa did and they're max protecting and they leave in 8.
Right.
So everybody is doing quick throws, 3 steps. You can't get sacks in 3-step drops.
Right.
So number one, you can't get sacks in 3-step drops. And then everybody is max protecting. And what Iowa tried to do against Mateo was run at him. They ran away from Tatum. They were like, we're going to run at Mateo. And he held the edge. He was strong. He was physical all game. And the stats don't show it. But when you watch that all 22 film, 10 looks like a dog.
A great example of that from the Ducks past would be Eric Armstead, who didn't rack up a lot of sacks. But when that dude was on the field, he was controlling his side of the line of scrimmage. Yep. And creating a lot of opportunities for other people in their defense. And some people trashed on him a little bit. Oh, he's overrated. He's not getting any sacks. But the NFL knew. That's why he was a first-round pick. And that's why he's been in the league for 10 years, right?
Yes.
Making 100+ million.
Yeah, and Mateo has shown he can get to the pass. Like that's not a question.
Right.
The problem is they're like, we can't sit back here and just throw the. And mind you, Minnesota is going to do the exact same thing. Their offensive line is leaky. They're having trouble running the ball. They're having trouble protecting the quarterback. They're not just going to just sit back there and drop back pass.
There you go. All right, so I'll stay with the defense real quick. So the three best teams Oregon has played, Indiana, Penn State, I guess maybe Northwestern, and Iowa. So 4 teams, whatever. So in the fourth quarter of those 3 games I just mentioned, the defense, it's been kind of suspect. Blew a 17 3-point lead against Penn State. You let Indiana, it's 2020, you got the pick 6 from Finney, and then you let Indiana drive downfield and put up basically a game-winning touchdown in the fourth, and then you let Iowa just go 93. So I'm just wondering moving forward if this is going to be what catches them in the end. Like it's going to, and I know you're not one saying the Ducks are going to win a national title, but I just feel like we're going to see this team's national title hopes, whatever they are, come to an end because the defense is going to get exposed at the wrong time against a team with a much better passing game than what we saw from, say, Wisconsin and or Iowa.
I disagree, Aaron.
Of course you do. I knew you would.
I believe
you're programmed to. It's all right.
No. I've been watching football for a very long time, Aaron, and I have vision. I know what I'm seeing. Is that there are times as fans where you can have your blinders on.
Okay. But
there are also times where and I was talking about this with the college football nerds people, right? And they were talking about Dante Moore versus Lenoris Sellers. And they're pulling out all these stats. Dante's yards per attempt and, all these nerd stats, right? And I'm like, turn on the film. One guy's passing, like the accuracy, the poise, the decision make. Like, I do not believe that Dante should go to the NFL this year.
No, not at all.
I also don't believe that Lenore Sellers should either. But when you watch these dudes play, one of them is closer to being an NFL, having success in the NFL than the other one is. So you can give me all of the weirdo, because I'm a numbers person. I believe that the numbers matter, the stats matter, but sometimes the stats lie to us.
Okay.
And that's a situation there. So with all of that said, to come back to the answer to your question,
yeah, please.
What I look at when I'm looking at this Oregon team, this feels like a team that is continuously getting better. That's what I see. I believe that the defense is getting better against the run on early downs. The pass defense is good. Those two busts on a third down on that last drive, those are teachable moments. Like, those are things that other people are going to do to you in change, in motioning people out and all that stuff. And you got to communicate better. So it's not a physical it's not a, it's clearly not a lack of talent, which if you have a lack of talent, there's nothing you can do about that. And it is not a scheme issue. This was a communication issue and something that you can learn from, because other people are going to try to do it to you again. And that's the thing that gives me a little bit more hope, is that this was a communication issue and not an execution or a physical issue.
Okay. I don't know that exonerates you.
Small thing that can be fixed with some communication and having a new way to execute that.
Okay. I mean, we'll see, George. We'll see. You're saying no concern whatsoever with those 3 examples I gave you. Where the defense had to rise up, and Indiana drove 75, I think, on them. Penn State scored 2 touchdowns in the second half or fourth quarter, down 17-3. And Indiana, offensively challenged, Indiana drove 93 when you had the lead. You have no concern about that at all.
No, No.
Okay.
Because I understand the situations and how they happened, and they were all three separate things that haven't happened again, which is
well, they just happened. It just happened again.
No, I'm saying the way it happened.
Like the way it happened won't happen again. So they're just creating different ways to falter, but you don't think there's a fourth or fifth way?
There could be, but as long as you are in a situation where you're learning and getting better and all those things, then yes, bad things happen to good people sometimes. But at the end of the day, I don't think that that's going to be the thing that undoes this season. I think it could be something else. I don't think it's going to be that. That's what I'm saying.
Fair. All right. So Ducks fell in the AP poll. I know Duck fans are some of them were worried about that. They fell from 6 to 7. Ole Miss moved ahead of them. Ole Miss put a whooping on the Citadel, man. I don't know why you guys are all sleeping on the Citadel. Clearly, Oregon's win at Iowa was a much better win. But let me just say this real quick. And I sent it to you on Twitter. So I think Oregon held like a 30-point lead on Ole Miss, and now they're trailing by like maybe 60. I can't remember. That literally can come down to how people reorganize their polls based on, events that happen in and around those teams within where they have them ranked in the poll. And then all of a sudden the points spit out something that bumps Ole Miss ahead a notch. It's not like the collective of the voters getting together and going, we're going to put Ole Miss ahead of them. So that's it's kind of minuscule. Wait, hold on. But I want to put on one other thing. A great example this week about how it's so difficult to take this too seriously, one, and ignore the math involved in the voting, because I'm a Miami fan. We talked about how Miami fans were pissed because they were 9 spots or whatever behind Notre Dame, and they beat Notre Dame, right? Since then, though, Louisville, which beat Miami, lost to Cal and fell behind Miami. So Louisville fans are probably pissed. They're behind Miami, whom they beat. So then how do you rank that? If Miami beat Notre Dame but lost to Louisville and Louisville beat Miami, how do you structure those three? Because there's an argument either way. And so that's what happens with the polling. So please, people, don't get too wrapped up in this. It's a completely unscientific situation. It's completely illogical, really, when you think about it. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. So I hear all that, Aaron.
I know you do.
The issue is you had enough voters put Ole Miss in front of Oregon. And honestly, my biggest gripe is not even Oregon, to be honest with you. So last week, just so we are clear, in the AP poll, not in the college football playoff ranking, but the issue that I have with these polls in general, and people don't seem to understand this, but this is a prime example to bring it up. The college football playoff ranking poll reacts to the AP poll on some level, and then the AP poll then reacts to the college football playoff poll. So it is, and that's why preseason rankings matter way too much. They actually influence the rankings way more than people believe that they do. But last week, here is what the AP poll had. The AP poll had, the AP poll had Oregon at 6. So it had Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Ole Miss, BYU, and Texas Tech. Okay, so Texas Tech and BYU were 8 and 9. Okay.
Okay.
This week, you have the first 5 are still the same. Ole Miss moves up in front of Oregon after beating the Citadel. Oregon had to go to Kinnick Stadium against the number 20 team in the country. Even if the AP poll's like, we don't love Iowa still. Okay, whatever. That is still significantly a better win than Ole Miss. But instead, the voters reacted to the college football playoff rankings instead of doing their own ranking, because there makes no sense. And honestly, my biggest gripe is with Texas Tech. Texas Tech beat the team that the AP poll said was the number I want to make sure I'm being 100%. Yeah, they beat the team that was number 8. They were number 9. If this were the SEC, Aaron, and number 8, number 9 Ole Miss beat number 8 Georgia, and it were the situation, it would have been flipped. Because how does Texas Tech, the way that they absolutely put BYU in a headlock and gave them a noogie. That's how bad it was. Awful. I would have put in Texas Tech at number 6. I would have even considered number 5, but they for sure.
Okay.
So how did Ole Miss go up in front of Oregon and Texas Tech after what was a top 10 win, not jump even Oregon and Ole Miss? This didn't make no sense to me.
But you're basing it so much on what just happened. A lot of people vote differently. So if I believe Oregon's better than Texas Tech, just because Texas Tech and I believe Oregon's better than BYU, I'm not going to put Texas Tech ahead of Oregon because Texas Tech beat by BYU, but I think Oregon could beat both of them. And so I'm looking at this. So Texas Tech gained like 120 points in the polls. Probably some of those points came from Oregon. Some people probably did put Texas Tech ahead of Oregon because they beat up on BYU, whom they might have had ahead of Oregon. So let me finish. So what happens is when a handful of people do this, the points change and it spits it out. And then people like you are like, how can all these people do this when it can be just a handful of people that manipulate it? Because like I said, Oregon only held a 30-point lead on Ole Miss to begin with. And those 30 points could have been lost to Texas Tech. But why be frustrated? If you understand how it works, it shouldn't frustrate you because it doesn't matter.
No. The thing that frustrates people is this, is that
because they don't get it.
You have, I believe that AP voters are well-intentioned, okay?
Here we go.
No, hold on. I believe, and you used to be an AP voter, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I believe that AP voters are well-intentioned people, okay? I also believe that they have a very, very, very difficult job because the vast majority of them are on beats, correct?
Correct.
So when you have to when you're at a game, so like you're at the Oregon game this last week, right? At Iowa. How many football games did you watch how many college football games were you able to watch this weekend?
Oh, I watched part of the Bama game and the end of the Indiana game.
So, and this is no knock, Aaron. I'm just saying that's just the reality of somebody on a beat, right?
Right.
When you got to have a story done 5 minutes after the game, and then you got to have something else soon. Like it's just the reality of the job.
Yeah, you spend 6 hours focused on a game at least.
Yeah. So I don't believe that even those well-intentioned people are the best people to be voting on ranking the top 25 teams. That's no knock on any, because I believe that they're trying to do the best job that they possibly can.
Okay, but here's the thing. I know what you're going to say, but let me stop you. You're assuming then that since you watch more football, your rankings are going to be better. And I guarantee you they're not. You had Washington 14 at one point. Like your rankings change all the time because what you have ranked turns out to not be true. And this is the thing about this. The rankings are a snapshot in time and they change every week. Why? Yeah. Because they're meaningless. Like especially early in the season, they're literally meaningless. Husky fans were crying for weeks. Why aren't we ranked? Why aren't we ranked? And then you went and lost to solid Wisconsin.
Aaron, they're not meaningless.
They're meaningless.
Because the reason why they're not meaningless.
They only matter at the end of the season.
Aaron, can you listen? I want you to understand this. And you are a smart guy, so you should understand this. You can't say that they are meaningless because those rankings factor into strength of schedule rankings and strength of record rank, and like those rankings. Well, not a strength of record, but they matter into strength of schedule rankings for sure, because your schedule is quote unquote tougher when you have to play more ranked teams, and so it matters. Is
that based on ranking or based on their record? Which comes first? No,
because there is the
record comes first.
No, there's strength of record and then there's strength of schedule. And the more ranked teams that you have to play, the more that, and then the higher ranked that the teams that you play against are, those factor into those metrics. So you can't say that it doesn't matter when
it matters at the end of the season. It doesn't matter today that Ole Miss is ahead of Oregon. If Oregon wins out and they're 12-1, I would
agree, Aaron.
Okay,
that part doesn't like that. I'm saying I agree with you that there's no reason to be upset about it, but it is notable in that these rankings do factor into the metrics that the college football playoff is supposed to take into account. So Oregon's in a situation to where if Oregon wins out, it doesn't even matter.
Exactly. That's my point. It doesn't matter.
Hold on. But for teams that are like Utah, Notre Dame, BYU, Texas Tech, who aren't getting the credit that they would for beating if the college football. Now, I am interested to see how the college football playoff committee is going to react to this, because if they put Ole Miss in front of Texas Tech,
they're already in front of them. They're already in front of them.
No. I'm talking about on this upcoming week, because the rankings come out tomorrow.
I know, but last week they were ahead of them.
Yeah.
You think they might drop them?
Yes, they should.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Because Texas Tech, because 8 beat 7, so you think 8 would then jump ahead of 6 because the 6 didn't play anybody. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and that's the way. And it wasn't like it was a beatdown. So, and Texas Tech's numbers, they may have the best defense in the entire country. So it's not like you can be like they have been kicking the out of people every single game, except for the Arizona State game that they lost when their quarterback was out.
Okay, I'm gonna explain to you again why I say it's.
So yes, I'm caping for Texas Tech right now because I believe that they are by far the most underrated team in the country. By far, I think that they are I honestly, in my heart of hearts, I believe that Texas Tech's the second best team in the country right now.
Okay. That's your belief, but that doesn't mean that you're right, or B, that ranking, where you want to rank them would necessarily be the correct thing to do.
Correct, but I wouldn't rank them too, if that makes sense.
Because who'd they lose to again?
They lost to Arizona State, but it was without their starting quarterback too. So I would not rank them too because I don't believe that they've earned the number 2 spot. But I definitely would have them probably 4 or 5. And Oregon, Aaron, there are only 2 teams that I'm highly concerned with Oregon playing. 2.
Well, they only have 3 games left, and one's against
No. I'm talking about playoffs? In a playoff. Only 2 teams that I'm highly concerned with. Highly concerned.
You're such a homer. You're such a homer. This team, inside the top 12, Oregon goes 5-7, if that. 4-8 maybe. Yeah.
No.
4-7.
I believe that this here's the thing is I believe it's a toss-up game pretty much with Bama, Georgia. No. I think that they Oregon. Aaron, Oregon would be favored against every single team in the country.
Toss-up games against Penn State and Iowa. What are you talking about?
Styles make fights and stuff like it. It's Aaron. If
this team literally gives up on its passing game when a little rain comes down, they face. I mean, come on,
Aaron. So
we'll find out. Hopefully, we'll find out. Teams. If we don't find out, then I'll be proven right. If we do, they do get the playoffs. We'll find out. But go ahead.
There are 2 teams. That is Ohio State and Texas Tech. Okay. I believe Oregon beats Texas A&M and beats Ole Miss pretty like I would be very confident in those 2 games. Okay. Alabama and Georgia are toss-up games to me. I think that Notre Dame is a I think Oregon, and mind you, Vegas agrees that Oregon would be favored against every single team in the country except for Ohio State and Indiana right now.
I mean, Vegas said that about the Pac-12 championship game against Washington.
They don't get every game right because they're whole. But I'm just.
They know people like you are going to make ridiculous bets because of the flashy Oregon.
Aaron, that's not the way it works. That's not the way it works.
Okay, dude. All right.
But I'm telling you, dude, I've watched. Aaron, it's sicko work. The amount of football that I watch. So I am in depth, understand everything about these teams, like who they are, where their weaknesses are, and everything else. And what Oregon's strengths versus Oregon's weaknesses, the two teams that I would be highly concerned with them playing, highly concerned, where like I would probably pick against Oregon, are Ohio State and Texas Tech. Those are the two teams that I would for sure. You would even
pick Indiana against them when Indiana rolled up into Austin and beat them?
No, okay. Because
so George, I respect your football acumen 100%, but you are absolutely compromised. If you did not play at Oregon, we would not be having this conversation right now. You would not be saying this.
Aaron,
no, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. No way.
The Indiana game, because you can watch a team beat a team and say, oh, okay, if like that, and then I've watched Indiana enough. I said against Penn State, I was like, if Penn State can stop Indiana's running game, because that is Indiana's key. Everybody thinks that Fernando Mendoza's out here throwing for 350 yards a game and four touchdowns. That's not it. He's more of like a dink and dunk efficiency guy. Like, so if you stop Indiana's running game and force them into their whole goal is to stay out of third and long, and Penn State was able to get them into third and longs, and that's why if Penn State hadn't have played scared on their last drive, Aaron, they played not to lose. It was 2 minutes to go. Indiana had timeouts. So instead of trying to get one first down, being aggressive and getting one first down, they decided to just run the ball 3 times, let Indiana call 3 timeouts, and punt the ball away, and then they lost, which is stupidity. But like you gotta go out. Like Chip Kelly, he taught me this, and I believe it too. Like, it is fundamental to my football core. Is finish the game with the ball in your hands, within reason. You know what I mean? Like if it's
don't just concede possession.
Yes, because like, oh, we're gonna trust our defense to stop them. That, our offenses make hero plays. People bust coverage. People make one-handed catches. Like all sorts of stuff. So you have to be aggressive in those situations. So to end this belabored point is that I have watched these teams, Aaron. And when I say it's a toss up against Alabama and Georgia, what I'm saying is, can Alabama or Georgia beat Oregon? Yes, but I believe that it's a 50-50 proposition because of their styles. Ole Miss's defense can't get stops. Their quarterback, he can't get rattled at times. Their offense can't get logged down. Texas A&M. If you can, playing Texas A&M, honestly, Aaron, is going to be just like playing Washington. You have to keep the little quarterback in the pocket, because if he gets out of the pocket and he's able to weave and get first, you're going to lose that game. Like Washington and Texas A&M are the exact same game. Exact same game. Obviously, Texas A&M has performed better on the road than Washington because they stink when they leave Montlake. But yeah.
Okay. Anyway, let's move on really quick to the Minnesota game. We'll come back Wednesday and do a proper preview of this game. I got a threat level of 1. Minnesota can't score. The running game's weak. Passing game's weak. Defense is weak, averaging 22 points per game. It'll be about 50 degrees in potential rain, so Oregon probably won't sling it very much, and we'll see what happens with the receivers and injuries. So I'm going 31-10 Ducks. They rush for 275.
I'm picking the Ducks to win 34-10, but this is a threat level of a 3.5.
Okay, you just said you're not even worried about anyone except for 2 teams in the top 12, but you got this at 3.5?
Aaron, I didn't say that you can't work.
Blah, blah, blah.
Situations matter, Aaron. This is, and mind you, I'm picking the Ducks to win 34-10, but I also understand. Here's the part that you have completely forgotten about, Aaron.
Clearly.
What day is this game being played on?
Friday night.
What is the whole premise of Pac-12 After Dark?
But this is the Pac-12. Minnesota did have a bye too, by the way.
Yes.
I don't care though. But I don't care. They're gonna get. Oregon's gonna run all over these cats, bro,
Aaron,
and they can't score.
I believe that is the most likely outcome.
Okay.
I believe that is the most likely outcome. I picked them 34-10.
Then
that
why
is the most likely outcome.
3.5?
Because of the situation, Aaron. This has all the markings of like when college football random upsets happen. It's because of stuff like this. It is a night game on a Friday night. Everybody thinks you're going to win. The weather could be slightly weird. But
usually you're on the road for those, not at home.
Yes, but you're at home after a tough road game on a short week. So I'm agreeing, Aaron, that the most likely outcome is a blowout, right? They're favored by 21.5 points or 22 points. That's the most likely outcome. But I am concerned about the early part of the game. Like, I'll know within 3 drives how this game is going to go, but I'm putting it at a 3.5 because of situations could go poorly.
Okay. All right. We went long today, so we're going to cut it off right here and come back Wednesday and preview this game more extensively. I want to hear the reasons. I know. I want to hear all the reasons why George the Hater Wrighster thinks the Ducks might lose this game because it's going to be a night on a Friday. All right. Today's episode of Ducks Confidential was brought to you by Travel Lane County, an organization that promotes travel and tourism in the Eugene, Cascades, and Coast region. Ducks fans can find out more at www.eugenecascadescoast.org. All right, thanks for watching. For all of you guys who got through the whole thing, I'm sure it was entertaining. George, you just stressed me out, bro. That's all right, bro. I love you. All right, take care, peace.